And lastly is law enforcement and criminal justice reform. Again, from a criminal justice perspective, it's a little different. I believe in training for our law enforcement officers because I believe that they want to do a great job, and some of them are not getting the training they need to do the best job possible. And that's not their fault. We need to make sure we're training them in de-escalation and crisis intervention. Our officers need to learn their best tools are in their head, they're their brain and their mouth. And it's always the first one that I tried to use. Now, don't get me wrong, there were certain situations that I rolled up on that the hand was on the gun. But this is where I started. And if you have the tools to do it and you know how to do it, you can. 99.9% of the time, fix the problem without going to anything on the belt. Unfortunately, our officers aren't receiving that training, and those who are, it's inadequately applied across the state. We have no state standard for law enforcement, not even ours. I trained in a state that did have a state standard. We were still 900 hours lower than the state standard for a barber. Which, I don't want my hair messed up either, but I think law enforcement needs to come up. And we need to help promote that as a state. These are folks that are out serving their community, their state, and we can afford as taxpayers to make sure that they have the tools they need to do that safely for them and for our communities. And I also fully support community policing initiatives, which have received serious funding cutbacks in the last 10 years. Community policing is the idea that you should be in your community for a reason other than to arrest people. When people see me as a ranger, that flat hat right there, first off, makes most people think you're not a cop, which helps. But secondly, it made people smile when they saw me. It was the best kind of law enforcement in the world. When I walk to a door with a Petersburg PD guy or a Hopewell Police Department officer or a Dinwiddie County Sheriff, you'd see me walk up, the individual smile, then them coming up the sidewalk behind me and the individual go. That's because of public perception that is based on the fact that we only see cops when things are about to go bad. If we're out in our communities, if we're out doing the things that we need to do, if we're out with education programs, if we're out planting trees with kids, if we're out teaching kids about what we do, it improves our communities immensely, and it makes our officers' job so much easier because those communities will come to you and trust you and say, hey, so-and-so was doing this last night. They're not going to say that if they don't like you. But unfortunately, officers can't afford to do that if all they're ever doing is putting out fires. We need to make sure that we're fully funding community policing initiatives. They have been shown to work. The statistics, the facts, the numbers are out there. And I'm told that people don't like those things, so I'm not going to give them to you. But the truth is, y'all are out here. You're educated enough that you care enough to be here. So I'm going to not give them to you because I don't want to bore you and because we have little ones that I'm sure don't care about the statistics on. But please, feel free. Look up crisis intervention training through the Memphis State Police Department. Amazing program what they designed. Got to teach it for 6 years. One of my favorite things about being a cop was teaching people how to deal with an individual who's emotionally disturbed and not have it end in an arrest or a shooting. And how much that program has diminished the negative results of those interactions is amazing. But unfortunately, it is not mandated in this state. It is not even available in most of this state. Chesterfield just did it. Yes, they got, I think they're at 100% on their officers now, which took a while, and it took a bad incident, unfortunately. It took a 14-year-old girl getting shot for that to happen. And we don't need that to be what drives us. We need to be proactive and not reactive.